Hello everyone, my name is Amos Nimas, and in this video I am gonna tell you which are the best programming language for 2023. So of course this question each year people wants to know like which are the best programming language I should learn when I start programming, and the answer probably never really change. It's always the same answer. So in my case, I go with Bash first because Bash is the maestro. It's the master that will control all the other utility together to achieve a result. When you want to program, you want to achieve result. So by using Bash, you can put all these smaller utility together to achieve the result that you want. And this is very powerful because it's like the modules or libraries in other language, but instead you're literally using programs together, complete programs inside of your script. So this is why scripting language are very powerful. You don't have to compile them, and they can pretty much do everything you need them to do as long as it's in the CLI interface. So for for small project, I would say if it's for your personal use and it's a small project and it can be done from the terminal, go with Bash. Okay? And I'm assuming you're on the Linux system, of course. Not to be confused with Batch with a T, which is like the Microsoft terminal language, which isn't very complete as much as Bash is. So yeah, Bash, the shell language on Linux, is very good, very powerful, and I just used it to write this cool script. I'm just gonna make my terminal transparent so that you can see what the script do a little bit better. I'm gonna it did not work. Alpha 7. The transparency isn't. I think I turned off the compositor for the transparency. But yeah, I don't need the transparency. I just wanted to show you, for example, if I source my dot profile file, which basically is the configuration for my computer when my computer boots. So each time that my computer is going to open, it's gonna run the dot profile file, and what it's gonna do, it's going to download, at least it's supposed to download a wallpaper from Reddit, and then it's supposed to rename it to wall default, and it's supposed to set it as my wallpaper. But the problem here is that I'm getting redirecting output to we get log. Why? I'm getting too many outputs and it's like still doing something, and I had to cancel it, um, which isn't something I want to happen. I'm trying to see like how I could prevent this from happening, but it's not that important. Conclusion: they just downloaded a cool wallpaper from r/wallpaper, and I got too many workspace. I do too many things at the same time, and I get lost. I just want to show you cool stuff, but I end up all across the place on my computer. So yeah, that bash script is first. Second, if you want to make a little bit of a bigger project and you don't care about people having access to the code, and if you don't plan on publishing it, but you need it to be a little bit more complex, then maybe you might need to use Python, because Python can handle graphics, but still Python doesn't need to be compiled for reasons that I won't get into. It's almost computer science when it comes to like you have two types of programming language, some that are compiled basically and others that are um, emulated in some ways. I don't have the right terminology to describe it, but yeah, basically like Python would be second. It's very powerful. You can do a ton of stuff with it. I'm using it right now to make a program that will allow me to um, manage my task. And yeah, after that, like if you had to learn a programming language, I hope you like it should have been at the same level of Python, learned like HTML and basic JavaScript, because these language like CSS, HTML, JavaScript are very basic for a reason. They're very polyvalent, useful, and knowing how to make basic web page is like a must in the modern age, I feel like. And after that, like maybe like that's where I'm starting to be conflicted, because I really do like Java, but I do not like the using an SDK. I don't like using the GDK. So, but Java is good. I do like Java a lot. If I had to like have a third like best programming language after Python, would be Java. Not JavaScript. Those are two different things, but very similar. Which I do like. I do like Java. I do like JavaScript a lot. And then after that, you would have like C++, and why not C? That's a good question. The question of C versus C++. C is like, if you can use it, if it makes sense to use something simpler, if you don't have need for any of the C++ um, aspect in your program, basically, if you're not gonna use object-oriented programming, and if you like, C is good. That's just my point. My point is that C was a working programming language. It's very like basic, but that's good, because if you intend to code every part of your project yourself, not rely too heavily on library, I think that yeah, C is a good programming language. But again, I end up using C++ a lot of the time, because I often use library that aren't compatible with C and are only like available for C++, or certain like I do like not having to use struct for everything. I do like to be able to have like object oriented programming. I do like it. So that's why C++ is better than C for most cases, even though I do like the simplicity of C, and I always prefer it if it's possible to use C, um, when I can use it instead of C++. I have like, um, it's an achievement, and I'm proud of that, and I think that there's a certain like street cred to using C instead of C++. And the rest of the programming language, like I haven't named PHP and Apache and like MySQL, because those are all like, when I said HTML web page development, those all go together, and you should learn the basic of them, even though it can be boring at time. And all the other programming language, basically from that point on, like, are very specific to the tools you're gonna use, or maybe the job you're gonna get, or it's not really programming language that I would call practical, that you would need for day-to-day use. Oh, Lua, the programming language, is amazing for making games. If you have like Pico 8, or if you make game for um, like smaller game engine, if you will, Lua is very nice. I do love it. Everything's a table. Like, classes are tables, struct are tables. You can have function inside of tables, making tables like classes, and everything's a table. A list is a table. Yeah, I do like Lua because of that. That makes it so much simpler. It really simplified the process of how I am going to store this information, which is the basic of programming. I have this information, I need to store it, and it makes it very simpler. And that may come with some limitation, but I don't see it when making games. So if you want to make big project like video games, a simple language will help. Will help. If you have to make everything from scratch, and you have like um, an abstract programming language that abstract everything, it's not good. So yeah, there's no visual to that video. I just wanted to rant about like the best programming language, but I haven't even wrote a list. So it's like Bash, then you have like Python, then you have like the entire web development, which include like um, HTML, CSS, PHP, and JavaScript. Like, these are the basic to use for web development. And then you have like C++, then C if possible, and I would say like even before C++, Lua for making games is good, but I don't see many use for Lua outside of like configuration file and maybe game making. And like, people use you might some people will argue that like C# is better than C or C++, but I don't think so. But I do think it's an okay programming language, so I would place it here. And I forgot about like um I would put Java right here, right here. So you see that I do like higher level language like Bash, Python, Java, Lua. Those are not low level language. They're as far away from assembly as you can, and then you go lower and you get like C++ and C. And why C Sharp here? Because I don't like Microsoft. I haven't used it much outside of Unity, but I do think it's an okay programming language too. And like I would put on top of it like GMK, the Game Maker programming language, which I haven't used in a while. So I hope it hasn't gone bad like the engine itself, because I used to love Game Maker, but they never made a version that is compatible with Linux. So fuck them. Okay, I would have loved to keep using it, and I preferred the old Game Maker Studio. I don't like Game Maker Studio 2. I preferred the old one. So yeah, that's oh, I'm getting a call. So that's the end of the video, folks. Bye bye.